You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
We are thrilled to kick off the second annual Lawn Tourpreneur Series and highlight some of the best and brightest up-and-comers in the lawn and landscaping industry. We're interviewing 6 launchpreneurs across the country, highlighting their success as we share their inspiring story with you. Thank you to our sponsors, Echo, Equip, and Staybill for partnering with us on this exciting tour. Don't forget to check out the correlating equipment tour videos for each of our guests on the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel, airing every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, really excited about this podcast interview that we've got lined up for you guys. It is our 6th interviewee for the Teenager Tour, the Lawn Tourpreneur Series, the Launchpreneur Series that we're doing, highlighting the young teenagers out there, the young guys that are just kicking butt and taking names. Some of these guys are 15, 16, 17 years old, 18, 19, mostly the teenager crowd. And it's been a fun highlight over the summer, 6 weeks, showcasing their success. I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more happy to show you guys what these young folks have going on in their lawn and landscaping business and all of their success. And not only that, but really getting to hear their thought process, really getting to hear what they've put together, really get to hear what they're excited about. They're full of spunk. They're excited. They got a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a positive attitude. And frankly, I couldn't be more honored to, if you will, to highlight their success. So what we've been doing is 6 interviewees. This is actually number 6. So kind of culminating the tour here, which is kind of somber, but at the same point, saving some of the best for last, if you can imagine. We actually are running this back from when we did it last year. And so if you guys go back to the podcast the same time last year in the summer, maybe you guys are younger, 15, 18, 20 years old, just getting your business started, and you want to relate to more of the young guys, I would invite you to go back to, about the same time last year and check out the 6 podcasts we did on Monday. And then also go back on the last 5 weeks, right now for this year, and check out the last, 5 people that we've interviewed on this tour for this year. And also similarly, on YouTube, we've got the 6 setup videos for all these guys. Some of them have a shop. Some of them operate out of their parents' house. Some of them have, storage containers, shipping containers. I've seen a little bit of everything, which is really, really cool. Everybody's business is different. Some of them are maintenance guys and mowing guys. Some of them are, into more fertilizing. Some of them are more into landscaping. Some of them are like legit straight up into hardscaping, which is absolutely cool. And so, long story short, it's a lot easier, obviously, to make playlists, on YouTube than it is on the podcast. But we have the Teenager Tour playlist, and there's a lot of other great folks that we've interviewed along the way that we've also added to that playlist. Kind of like 20, 30 videos deep now, a lot from Christian with CNI, Connor Shop, a bunch of other great folks that have great businesses going on as well. So, hey, if you like the podcast, check out YouTube. If you like the YouTube videos, go back to last year's podcast, same time last year, and check out some of those interviews from last year. Maybe you guys are Facebook folks. Look for those on the Brian's Lawn Maintenance Facebook page. We've got about 35,000 followers there. I invite you guys to, hit the follow button on Facebook, and we repurpose a lot of those for Facebook as well. So wherever you're at on all these different platforms, we've got the content for you guys to check that out. All right, that being said, really quick here, we're going to kick it over to Nick Teeple. He's owner of Paxton Grounds. He's in the Ohio area, Stark County, I believe. It's about an hour southeast of Cleveland, and he's got it going on, man. He's got a great lawn care setup. He's got, I think he said 60 or something customers. I have to refresh my memory, but long story short, the dude's got it going on with a full mowing setup, a couple of trucks, a large storage bay that he's got his snowplow in there, and so much more. But again, not only is his equipment awesome to look at, but his mindset of how he's approaching his business is just as similarly impressive. So, Nick, you got it going on, dude. Super excited for you. He's just kind of getting out of high school, getting his feet, wet, if you will, where he is looking at the lay of the land and saying, hey, man, I can really do something with this thing. Outside of building it the last 4 or 5 years part-time, while I'm in high school and all that deal. Where do I really want to go and grow from here? And Nick talks a little bit about that in the podcast. I invite you guys to maybe meet Nick down at Equip Expo. I know he's going to be there. I think he might even be coming up to LAL, but quick little plug for all of you guys that are coming down to Equip Expo, just to keep you guys on a realistic timeline with early bird registration tickets. That I believe goes until like September 7th for that $25 price, which promo code Brian saves 50%. So it saves you guys, whatever, $12.50. It all adds up. But we do get a kickback on that. So just want to say in full disclosure and transparency, one, we make a buck on that. But number two, thank you for the support. That literally helps us to make content like this, to reciprocate and keep you guys motivated during the day. So don't sleep on that. Like I said, we'll leave some links in the description. You can always get you registered, get your team registered. But I invite you guys to come on down to a quick expo. It's going to be October 17th through the 20th. One of the largest trade shows in our industry, if not the largest trade show in our industry. 25,000 people are going to be there, including Nick, myself, pretty much everybody that's been on the teenager tour, and then so many of you guys listening in. So just a friendly, quick reminder while we got you. Don't forget to get your Equip ticket, and don't forget to get your LAL 2023 live ticket. They're selling fast. So that's what I got. You guys know that the tour sponsors are Equip, Stable, and Echo. Want to say a big thank you to those guys for partnering up with us again on the summer tour with the Lawntrepreneur Series, highlighting these guys' success and so much more. Guys, without further ado, let's kick it over to Paxton Grounds. We'll interview Nick Teeple here, all the way down there in beautiful Stark County, Ohio.
We're doing good. How are you?
Good, man. By the way, if you guys hear a little bit of an echo, we're actually filming this in the... What would you call this? Like the courtyard area of?
It's like a compound.
It's like a compound. There's basically a building to my left, 6 bays. There's a building to my right, another 8 bays. Huge concrete pad, which is really dope. And you're operating out of one of the bays. And then we got your equipment set up here. We just got done shooting your video. So make sure you guys check that out on YouTube tonight at 3:00 Eastern time. Actually, really cool setup, man. You got go into it really quick just to give a little tease for what these guys are going to watch tonight.
Yeah, we got F-150 and an F-250. We got a SureTrack trailer, 14-foot, and then we got a John Deere zero turn and a Bradley stand-on zero turn.
And then a little schizophrenic on the hand tools.
Yeah, a couple different brands here. We got Redmax, Steel, Echo, Husqvarna.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it, we got it.
You got the SureCan gas cans, SureTrack trailer, which is cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a SureTrack trailer nearby, or?
No, but after watching your videos, I was like, man, I need a SureTrack.
Yeah. Where'd you get that from? Facebook Marketplace? Or?
Yeah, Marketplace. I drove like an hour away or so and got a good deal on it. So.
It probably came from Kelly and Sons, and then came halfway, and then to you.
Yeah, probably.
Something like that, That's awesome, man. Well, dude, thanks for opening up your afternoon and actually your morning here. And I was like, you got anything else going on today? And you're like, no, I gave you the whole day. And I'm like, oh, dude, we only need like an hour or two to just film and hang out. I love to stay longer, but I got to get back home. I got a bunch of house obligations tonight. We're doing a walkthrough with our electrician, and apparently it's a really big meeting that I got to figure out where the light switch goes and all the lights and the lamps. And so I'm like, I don't want to just throw that one up to the caution to the wind, So
yeah.
I got to get back for that one. But in the meantime, super excited about hanging out here with you. Where are we at in relation to Cleveland? Is this Cleveland right down the road, or?
Yeah, so we're about an hour south of Cleveland. We're right in between Akron and Canton.
Okay.
In a little town called Hartville. You may have heard of Hartville Hardware. It's a big lumber yard, and they got a John Deere dealer there and everything. So.
Okay, gotcha. So what town or city is this?
Hartville, and I live in Uniontown. I live 5 minutes down the road, so it's kind of right in the middle of the two.
You were saying in the video, one of the biggest John Deere dealers is right down the road?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest privately owned hardware store in America. And they happen to sell John Deere exclusively.
Oh, no way.
So,
what's that name?
That's Hartville Hardware.
Oh, Hartville Hardware.
Yep.
Okay. Wow, cool. I mean, it is crazy. Like sometimes you're driving around on the highways and byways or the turnpike, and you drive past some Coons Candies, I know, is off one of the highways over here, and I'm always like, I need to stop at Coons Candy. I don't even know what that is, but it's a huge red barn, and then another half mile or a couple miles down the road or whatever, it's some beef jerky warehouse. I don't know, right down the road of another highway. I travel Ohio quite a bit, and especially going to Columbus area, seeing the almonds. So I'm like, I gotta pull over to these. I wouldn't call them attractions, but these random places on the road. You got to go meet the Americana, all the stuff around the country.
Yeah. Gotta love traveling and exploring and trying new things.
Amen to that, man. Well, speaking of which, so let's talk about your company and everything that you got going on, man. Because you've had a lot of growth the last couple of years, but at the same point, you're just getting started too, which is weird to say because you're 19, you got an awesome truck and trailer set up, a couple trucks actually here. But you also have been doing this for 4 or 5 years as well. How did you get started in the industry?
Yeah, so I started out, my dad and I were racing RC trucks. I had a Traxxas, and they were expensive to start with. And my dad was like, well, how are you going to save up for one? Because I was driving my dad's at the time.
Okay.
And he was like, why don't you mow lawns? Because he did that as a kid, just like 2-3 lawns, neighbors, whatever.
Yeah.
And so we made flyers, and I got my first customer, the football coach at the time for our local high school here. And I slowly that year I got like 2 more customers, and it paid for the parts whenever I'd break the trucks.
Yeah. And those things are fun, by the way.
Oh, they're so fun.
I didn't know that's why or how you got started when you said it in the video. I'm like, dude, small world. Because I bought one 2 years ago.
Yeah, the X-Max or whatever.
I don't even know which one I bought. I went on Amazon. It was like $1,000, dude. Like with all the batteries and the chargers.
Yeah, they're crazy.
I told my wife, I think the year before I bought a one wheel, because like I like to buy little stupid stuff along the way too.
Yeah.
Keep you motivated.
Gotta live.
You gotta live a little bit. I did no living for like 15 years, and we started to make a little bit of money. And I was like, can I like buy like a 4-wheeler or like a one wheel? And she's like, what the heck do you need a one wheel for? I'm like, I don't know. It just looks cool. This is like the one wheel phase a couple years ago. And then I saw that Traxxas, and my wife's like, you want a $1,000 RC car? I go, listen, woman, like it's really fun. Okay. So relax. But she was like, whatever, dude, I don't care. So anyway, but dude, so that's how you got started, was because of the RC cars.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like kindred spirits right there, bro. So you ever get like an RC helicopter or anything?
No, I did. So in a snowboarding competition, actually, I won an RC truck.
Oh,
so I was already going to buy another RC truck. So I spent that money on a boat.
Okay.
And we have actually, my parents do, we have a surf boat.
Okay.
So
like a real boat?
Yeah, real boat.
Okay.
And my dad was driving the real boat with me in it, and I was racing him. And my RC boat actually beat the surf boat.
No way.
Yep.
What's the brand or name, or would anybody know what it is? Or?
Yeah, it's a Mastercraft.
Mastercraft.
We do a lot of wakeboarding, surfing, skiing.
Oh, okay.
So.
What? I mean, what also about the RC car? Was it? I was going to Mastercraft make RC car boats?
No, that was Traxxas as well.
Oh, okay.
I think the M41 or something.
Dude, that's sweet.
Yeah.
It went like 30, 40 miles an hour on the water?
Yeah, I think they marketed it as like 50 plus.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, that's like big boy club. One of my customers, total side tangent and going down the rabbit hole here, but that's why I love doing podcasts in person. Like all this stuff comes out. One of my customers, he has like a dozen racing helicopters, like RC helicopters.
Wow.
So I was at his house one day, and he's working on it on his back porch and patio or deck or whatever. And I was like, Chris, I'm like, what do you got going on there? He's like, oh, I race RC helicopters. And I'm like, cut the mower off, dude. You know, like we always hate sometimes talking to the customers for like a half hour because you're like, dude, I could have did an extra lawn.
Takes up time.
Totally takes up time. But this time I was like, I cut the mower off. I'm like, tell me more. Like, so I spent like a half hour on his deck just talking to RC helicopters. But anyway, I still need to pick something like that up. But they intimidate me. So that's why you got started in lawn care, man.
Yeah. And slowly from there, I fell in love with mowing stripes, and it's just so satisfying. And, I kind of grew it from there, kept investing and buying more equipment. And then I started just more recently, probably over the winter when I had more time to sit after I graduated high school. And that winter, I sat and just kind of thought about business. And I kind of started to fall in love more with the business thing. I mean, I'm willing to go out there and start, like Jeremiah, start a garbage can cleaning company or whatever. And I would still enjoy it, I think, the same amount because it's just business.
Yeah, it's a hustle.
Not lawn cutting or whatever.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. So when did you decide to make the lawn care, thing, quote unquote, on the side, making some extra money for car parts, a small business, and something that you thought you could actually, you have to reinvest as you grow. So was it buying a trailer or a truck or a mower where you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing?
Yeah, so I think after my dad found the deal on the John Deere zero turn, I was like, wow, this can actually work. Like. So that, I think he found that in the spring, and I kind of just mowed throughout that summer. And that November, I think it was November of 22 or 21, is when I filed for my LLC.
Cool.
And slowly from there, I was like, well, it's an official company now. I kind of got to grow it.
You're doing this thing.
Yeah, I hate failure. I hate quitting. So, I mean, there's no other option.
Make a go for it.
Yeah.
So fast forward to today, what's the business look like, and what do you guys got going on for now?
Yeah, right now, about 50% mowing and like 20% mulch, 20% spring fall cleanups, and then like 10% of like snow and other odds and ends and stuff. So
cool.
We're doing. It was myself up until a couple months ago, which I'll get more into here.
Yeah.
I got a part-time employee now, and we're slowly growing. We got like 45 weekly accounts, and hoping to get that to 60 here before the winter.
Yeah.
And then from there, by next year, I think my goal is like a little over 100 and maybe another guy or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just slowly started investing in more equipment. It's all debt free. I'm not going about that and getting into a lot of debt on my equipment, at least right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you have a knot in your pocket for a wad of cash that you've been saving up.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. You can share whatever you want about that. You were telling me some numbers. I was like, really? I was like, that's awesome, dude. So what's it feel like walking around, I would say my younger brother, what was the joke? Like, I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm something about being taller. And I said, yeah, but when I said in my wallet, I'm much bigger. I think it was about working out. And he's like, oh, okay. So you that's the equalizer. You get the not a fat wallet in your pocket. So how does that feel walking around tall?
I mean, it feels good, but I try and, I'm a Christian, and not just because of that, but I think that plays a big role into kind of just stepping back and not pushing it out or spending money on. I could go out. My dream truck's a Denali Duramax. I would love to go out and buy a brand new one right now, but I'm not really about that stuff. So
don't need it right now.
I'm more of a saver, and I think my dad really taught me that.
Cool.
I've learned a lot of my finance stuff from my dad. He's been a big role player in that.
What's his background? What does he do?
Yeah, my dad's an engineer. He works at a company. They make brakes for like private jets, military jets, and a couple like Airbus and commercial jets too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my mom's a PT at a very large Cleveland clinic. So
yeah, absolutely.
So, but he's been really good with numbers. So he's helped teach me and kind of guide me. And now he's kind of, I really like that he did this, but he kind of just took a step back and kind of let me figure it out. My truck, this F-150 here, got towed yesterday, and he just kind of let me figure it out on my own. I kind of like that.
Really?
So, yeah.
Was it a small breakdown? Or?
Yeah, the starter went out. It's an older truck, so things like that go. So.
Yeah. What year is this, by the way?
It's a 2011.
2011. Yep. Still nicer than the first truck I had, man. I had a 02 F-150, and it broke literally every month, and I had $400 bill every month, something every month, dude. So like, this would have been the dream, when I was your guys' age. I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine a truck that's, 5 or 6, 10 years old at most? Like, that's a nice chariot, bro.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you this. When you're talking about adding a guy and putting in work, a lot of this is sweat equity, we would call it, like just hustling, just grinding, working 5, 6, 7 days a week. What have you learned through that process? And then you said you were excited about hiring a new guy and, maybe getting a little bit out of the field or at least hiring help.
Yeah. So I went on vacation here a couple months ago, and I decided to listen to you, and I picked up a couple books.
Okay.
And one of those books was The E-Myth.
Okay.
And I read that, and it was like, man, the biggest thing holding back my company, like it literally has almost destroyed my company, is not hiring, not delegating. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy how the world works, and just this employee came to me. I didn't even have to advertise that I was hiring.
That's even better.
And it worked out perfect. And slowly from that, I've learned, I'm like, man, if I really want to make a go at this, I gotta have some guys. You were talking about in another podcast, the biggest like killer of revenue or such in your business is either not enough man hours per week, like you're not putting in enough time, or your rates are not high enough per man hour.
Bingo, dude. Yeah.
So that's been huge eye-opening these last couple months. And I'm like, it gets me excited because just knowing that, like the changes I'm going to make over this winter, my business is going to double, triple here in the next year, 2, 5, 10.
Absolutely.
Like it's going to be crazy. Awesome. It just makes me so excited.
So what did you learn with hiring? So you do, was it a production issue that you guys had, or you just were like, hey, I'm burned out, I'm doing all the work myself? And so what did that employee, why did it relight a fire within you?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So through high school, I played like 3 sports and did some hobbies like snowboarding. I just stayed busy with other things. I'm an Eagle Scout.
Cool.
I did a lot of different stuff, and it just sucked my time in. So I got burnt out quick with anything just because there was so much things pulling me left and right.
Sure.
So finally, once I graduated, I didn't have all those obligations, and it's kind of just my business and like maybe 1, 2 other things. It got me thinking.
Yeah.
So.
Got you opened up and look at the possibilities.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, they say if you end up chasing 2 rabbits, you end up getting neither.
Yeah.
Right. So now that you can focus or more focus, and less distractions, you're able to really open up your eyes to what you can do with the company.
Yeah.
How does Echo make outdoor grade outdoor power equipment? We start outside, in the heat, the cold, the rain. We give it hell, test it, best it, retest it. We make it tougher, more powerful, more reliable, more Echo. 200-plus tools forged by the elements. Built for pros, tough pros, outdoor-grade pros. We make it gas-powered, battery-powered, professionally powered. Then we get back outside. We get back to work. That's Echo, and that's outdoor grade. Echo, power on and on.
So it gets me excited, and reading books and listening to podcasts, and I'd much rather do that while I'm on a lawnmower than listen to rap music. And
Smart. Yeah, Drake is great and J. Cole's awesome. Outside of that, they're not coming to your house to either A, give you money, or B, teach you how to be more successful.
Exactly.
Right. Unless you want to be a drug dealer or a rapper. But I digress. Let me circle back really quick to something you said before we started the podcast. You were hanging out with, was it your one of your grandpas or somebody's grandpa, and you were talking business?
Oh yeah, it was my girlfriend's grandpa. He was the president of, and he kind of really helped grow. I think it was his dad that started, though, but a massive electric company.
Okay.
And I've also got around some other people I have written down here. I'll go off. Owner of K1 Speed, Brian, Eric Klein, the owners of Forever Lawn. I mean, those are just to name a few of people that are in a position that I want to be in.
Sure.
And so I want to be around those people. I want to talk to them. And several of those I haven't really talked to much about business or even at all, but it's people that I see that I want to talk to.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some people that I want to reach out to here shortly and just talk to them.
What was the story with your girlfriend's grandpa? You said because we're at a campfire or something, or you were just picking his brain one night or something like that?
Yeah, we were up at his lake house.
By the way, folks, we're talking like 9-figure business, okay? Like not like Mickey Mouse, Brian's on maintenance, okay?
No.
But this is like a big boy business that he sold off and did pretty well for himself.
Yeah, he did. And we were just talking. I didn't want to. I don't want to push too much with anybody. I don't ever want to feel like I'm taking. I want to give just as much. So I got to try and contain myself when I was there, but it was just like, just even being around that energy. But Brian, it was really cool around these other people too that I'm around, and you, and like everyone says the same thing. It's business is all the same thing. It's all systems. It's all delegating. It's all, first biggest one probably is knowing your numbers, and just like when I was sitting talking to him, he was just rolling these numbers. Like we were kind of talking about like the lifestyle you want to live and working backwards and stuff. And he's like, all right, let's figure out how many lawns you need to mow and how much revenue that's going to bring in to accommodate that. And then is it realistic? Can you fit those lawns in a day? And if not,
how do you get there?
Yeah, how do you get there? Do you hire an employee? Do you get nicer equipment? Like, what is it? So
he was saying all this stuff, and he's I know we're a big deal, obviously, but he's not listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast.
Probably not.
Probably not. But the irony and the joke was that you were saying earlier was he was saying the exact same stuff.
Yeah, and it was just like I was sitting there and I was kind of like laughing, and I'm like, I already know this.
Yeah.
I've already heard this from Brian's podcast, Paul's podcast, everyone. So
it's like success is success. That's what we're joking about.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter if you're doing asphalt or pool installation or commercial electrical installation business. Success is success. It leaves clues, and there's common practices and principles, and that's what you were kind of realizing. Was it like an aha moment or a little bit of an epiphany, or like, dude, I'm on the right track?
Yeah, it was more of I'm on the right track. Like, it's just kind of approved, like what I've heard from other people too. And kind of as like a couple months ago when I started to get around these people and kind of noticed that, I kind of like hinted at it, and I'd say it, and they're like, yeah. Like they kind of nod their head at it. And I'm like, oh, so I'm onto something.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I'm so jealous of you guys that are on this tour. Like, man, at 15, 16 years old, I was like, no, let's go work at Little Caesars and make $7 an hour. And whatever, today it's go work at the mall and make $15 an hour. It's very similar, but self-employment's not for everybody. We got to throw always that little disclaimer in there, because everybody thinks like, oh, Fullerton, everybody should just be self-employed. I'm like, no, actually a lot of people should be employees, because it's a lot to chew on, running your own business. But at the end of the day, like, you've got all these options available to you now, and you do see the opportunity, and you do see the possibility of where you can take this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, back to, again, where you said, like, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Like, running your own small business is not for everyone. I mean, even yesterday when my truck got towed, that was so incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Like that, it probably took up 2 hours, and I'm like, man, there's $200 or whatever. Like,
oh yeah. That's how I felt when my plow truck broke down. It was 2022, broke down 6 months after I owned it. That snowstorm that we got in Michigan that was like 9 inches, and I hit that speed bump, and it just shot the truck, and one of the wires was loose and all this other mess. And it was at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm waiting for a plow truck for 3 hours. It's 0 degrees out. The truck stayed warm for about an hour, and then it was pretty cold out there.
Yeah, I'm grateful it happened in the summer here when it's warm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure, dude. That's a big blessing. If your truck is going to break down in the summer, on a Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
Not on Monday or Tuesday, But no, that's awesome. Let me ask you this. I know you got a lot of great stuff going on with your business, but you had some great notes here that you wrote down. Was there any topics that you wanted to mention? Because you had said there's some things that have really helped you that you wanted to pay forward. And did you get towards your list a little bit here?
A little bit. There's one other thing that's not on my list, but I was kind of thinking of Brian, you see these papers over here. I'm pointing at my toolbox over here. So I got some papers here, and I basically just took a Google Sheets, like an empty Google Sheets, and I printed out a chart. It was like a 4x500 long grid.
Okay.
So every time my employee comes in here, he checks in, time out, name, date. I do the same on my form.
Okay.
And then with my numbers, I don't have it here, but back in my bedroom in my office.
Yeah, your corner office.
Yeah, I have all my numbers written out on whiteboard, and I'm constantly like playing around with it. Like, if I do this, do that. So this year, what's going to be big for me is like that benchmarking, kind of like what I was talking to you about earlier. Like seeing where we're at. Are we putting in enough man hours? I would like to eventually do like 410s, like 4 10-hour days. Are we putting enough man hours? Is everything getting accounted for? Are we going over budget on equipment, like maintenance costs or gas, or just kind of seeing where we're at and making sure I'm hitting kind of what I projected for.
So you're getting more intentional at measuring things in the business.
Yes.
Because you realize like that is as equal or greater to your company's success than just shiny mowers or plows or trucks.
Exactly. And I started tracking at least our hours here. I mean, I have to for payroll purposes, but
sure.
Even myself, probably June of this year, I was doing some landscaping jobs, and it was just killing me solo.
Yeah.
Like physically. And I got home the one day, and it was like 7 o'clock, and which isn't even that late. Like I've worked longer than that, but I just hit my bed and I was out.
Yep.
And the next day I was thinking, I was like how long am I even, like how many hours per week am I even working? Like, why am I this exhausted?
Sure.
And I tracked it out. I was only doing like 35 hours. I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. I can't. So
feels like 50 or 60.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So. Yeah. And that's something that I really implore you guys to study more. People are like, oh, employees are so expensive. I'm like, employees are free.
Yeah.
They're free. They make you money. If you do it right, if you understand how to charge for it, how to bill out for it. And people are like, what's the secret, for scheduling? You're saying you're getting the 410s, and people are like, oh, 410s, because everybody says 410s lately. And the almonds do 410s. We do 410s. And I'm like, it's not the 410s. It's the amount of production that goes into those 4 10-hour days, which, by the way, could have 10 employees, could have 5 employees, could have 500 employees working 410s. It's not the 410 schedule, right? It's the production and the right production rates, right, that go into that 410 schedule, right? So I say we do about 130, 140 hours worth of mowing per week in that 4-day window, right? But that's 3.5 full-time guys in a 4-day window doing 130, 140 hours of production that we're billing out for at a certain rate. I've got my overhead at a certain percentage of that, and then profit at a certain percentage of that, right? So it's really just, I love what you said earlier, and I've said this many times before. I heard it from somebody way back when, was don't just work yourself to death. Don't just grind it out, or what do you want to do? Like, figure out how you want to live, figure out the lifestyle you want to make, have, figure out what that costs, and then work your way backwards with a business that helps you get there, and then build systems and processes around to make sure that the thing moves to provide you that lifestyle. It's very, very simple, right? But you have to be very intentional.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head, Brian.
I just want to quantify that. I mean, that's something that when you guys are 15, 16 years old, you're going to work your butt off to get the altitude, but you can't keep that machine moving just on your own efforts, after you start maxing out that first route, right? I mean, you can stay small, and that's totally cool. You don't have to get big. You don't have to do, 9 figures like your girlfriend's grandpa. But at the same point, I would encourage people to build a business that's sustainable without just you mowing grass or doing the landscaping.
Yeah. And Brian, like back to your point of like wasting man hours too, like go to the gas station at the end of the day, or so like you're not wasting. Employees want to go home, so they're just gonna.
They're a lot quicker.
Yeah, or sharpen blades, or not sharpen blades, but
swap blades,
scrape decks and swap blades at the end of the day, like when everyone's like wanting to go home, and we don't always do that, but it's something that needs to be on my mind more. But
oh, you're getting there. You're way farther ahead than many people are and were at your age. And again, even for a lot of you guys that are 30 years old listening to these episodes, I hope you guys are listening to all these younger guys out there. And it's like, yeah, they're all excited and they're all fired up, but it does give some encouragement that, hey, like you can change, you can grow, and can't go back and change things, but you can always, make some changes and move forward. And you're your youngest that you are today than you ever are going to be. So, learn from these guys and get some motivation and some inspiration. And maybe they challenge you a little bit. That's okay too, So It is really exciting, What else you got on the notes that you were scrolling through there?
I guess one other thing, I kind of want to go back to like what you're thinking about when your effort is low. I think that's, I just wrote that down kind of as a gibbet. I was probably on my mower, listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Yeah. And I was probably like, ooh, that's a good point. So it's probably your words that I'm taking there, but I thought it was really, really cool.
You got to think about what you're thinking about when your effort is low.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So what does that mean to you?
Like, what are you listening to? Like, or what are you doing that's making, or what are you eating that's making your effort low, or like, so on.
Yeah. Makes sense. I love it. So if you're having a pity party or feeling like crap, you got to think about what you're putting into the system.
Yeah, and what are you gonna do to change it?
That's good.
Like for example, I'm not the biggest guy. I'm kind of skinny.
Yeah.
And that's been a big thing of mine. I'm wanting to put on weight, and I was like, all through high school, I was like, oh, as soon as I'm done with soccer, like I'm gonna put on all this weight because I'm not running miles and miles a day.
Sure.
And that didn't happen. But I mean, I'm putting an effort in my business, and that's probably what's holding me back. But I'm thinking like, what is it? And now I know I'm not eating enough.
Right.
Like,
not enough calories or
not enough
quality food.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but also when you get a girlfriend turned fiance turned wife, that is a big part of the equation.
Yeah.
I was a skinny mini dude until I was like 30, and then I got married, and Liz made me breakfast like every morning in the off season.
Yeah.
In the winter, and then. The more money you make, the more steak you eat. There's a chart. Somebody can make an Instagram reel. There's a chart. Like the wealthier you get, the more good food you eat. That's a fact. You can buy more lobster tails when you're making more than $10 an hour.
Yeah.
If not, you got to eat ramen and the rice and beans. And Lord knows Liz and I have done that for way longer than we wanted to.
Yeah, but you're doing everything. I mean, you're writing books. You're building a house, you're having babies. I mean,
that's why I eat a lot of mental energy,
Yeah.
But that's also why I got a little gut that I thought would go away in the spring, but I haven't had time to physically work out. That's why Liz and I are trying to do that 75 hard to, she's crushing it right now. I'm doing my best, but trying to get back at it to, clean up a little bit on the health diet too. Cause hey, good food gives you good energy.
Yeah. Props to you guys on that.
Well, Liz eats like almost perfect. I'm still a chicken tender and French fry kind of guy, but I digress. So dude, you guys a lot of great things going on, man. A lot of growth in the company, a lot of residential, a lot of commercial stuff going on. Where do you plan to take things from here over the next year or two? If you got a little 24-month game plan?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone you ask, like my best friend or my girlfriend or my parents, like I'm always talking about that, and that's whatever I'm talking, I'm probably thinking. So
that's awesome.
I'm always thinking like, where's this going to be? And it's actually quite frustrating.
Yeah.
Because there's so many options, and I just can't pinpoint exactly what I want to do. So that'll come. I'll know exactly what I want to do here. I just need more time to think and dream, and that's big. I mean, Brian, you're doing so many things. Other business owners, we're all running in so many different directions. I think the biggest thing, especially for these young guys out here, is to sit down and make intentional time to dream. Make a dream board. Print out pictures of what you want to have, what you want your business to look like, what you want your life to look like, what hobbies you want to get into.
I love it.
What relationships do you want to have? Like all of this, you just need to kind of spill it out, I guess.
Yeah. And that gives you that vision to work towards that goal.
Yeah.
Right?
I think though, within the next little bit of time here, within the next year or two, I'm not putting any date on it, but it's a goal of mine is to get a couple, 1, 2, maybe 3 more employees, get a couple more trucks. And once I have a couple more trucks, I'll slowly upgrade them, get a little bit more reliable ones. because these aren't brand new trucks or anything, but they get the job done.
The white one's sweet. If you want to sell that thing, holler.
Will do.
That thing's sweet, dude.
Thanks. I mean, it looked completely different when I bought it.
I bet.
I think next, I kind of want to change things up. Both of those will probably be gone here shortly.
A couple years, yeah.
But I wanted to get a dump truck. And then 2, I want to get like old FedEx box trucks.
Okay, yeah.
And kind of like what Jeremiah has, maybe not quite as big.
Yeah.
And do 2-man crews. I know you do like a 3-4-man crew.
Yeah.
But I want to do some 2-man crews. I figured in my shop that we're staying in here, I could maybe fit a dump truck in a box truck or 2 box trucks or something. And then maybe get another one over here and put a couple more. And I think for the time being, I don't really want to get more than 2-3 crews maybe with 1-2 guys
mowing
per
landscaping
crew. Yeah. So just like your size business or something. That's at least what I'm pushing for right
Aiming
now.
For. Dude, I think
we're not there yet. But
I would give you 36 months tops to make that happen. I mean, you guys got great growth, and now that you're able to focus on the business and, like you said, dialing in more of what you want, I think now it's just to go get it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an issue of knowing how or anything like that. It's just ambition. Like if you want it, go get it. And dude, I'm looking around. I'm like, this is a pretty awesome setup. I wish I had stuff like this at 18, 19 years old. So
thanks, man.
Congratulations on all the growth, man.
I'm proud of it, but at the same time, it's like, man, why don't I have this? But I always need to step back and be like,
dude. It's funny because I was interviewing somebody else and they saw Tom Maggs.
Yeah.
Did you see that interview?
Oh yeah.
And he's got
the video.
Dude, 4 dump trucks. I'm just walking around there. I'm like, dude. I told Liz, I go, I'm just adding numbers up. I'm like, this kid's doing about $1 million. And on the YouTube video, I titled 500 grand in revenue at 19. And he texted me. He goes, dude, you're killing me. And I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't come over here and go, hey, how much you make it? I don't do that. But he's like, dude, we're almost doing $1 million this year. And I was like, all right, I'll go change the title, you know? But because people are like, these numbers don't add up. This kid's got 4 dump trucks, 2 skids. And I'm like, I don't know his business. I'm not going to get that intimately involved with what you guys are doing. But I do like to interview the guys that I know have real businesses, real things going on. You know, it's not mom and daddy's money. It's not, just given to them or they inherited it or something like that, So I know enough of that for the guests that are on our show, but you trying to compare yourself to that, it's just, all it's going to do is drive you insane.
Exactly. You can't play the comparison game.
No, because what did you say before we hit record? You said you always compare your what was the line you wrote down? You compare your intention or something with somebody else's.
Yeah. Let me find it here.
It was a good line.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who said that one, but that was a good one. We got to find on the notes. He's got 2 pages of notes here, folks. I was like, here, you can just do a solo episode. I'll leave the mixer.
Was it you have to think about what you're thinking when your effort's low?
No, you said like we compare our actions. Versus somebody else's intent.
We judge people by our actions and we judge ourselves by our intentions. So like what's in our head and what we're dreaming about, that's how we judge ourselves. So like if I'm thinking like, oh, I've got $1 million business, but I really don't. Like that's how we're judging ourselves. And we're going to carry ourselves. We're going to slowly work our way up to that. But we're judging other people by their actions because we can't see what their intentions are.
Sure.
Like they may have $1 million business, but their intentions may be.
Yeah, I feel like that could be like a double-edged sword.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I can do better. It's like, well, then go do it. And while somebody else did do it, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So like, don't. It's somebody said once, you're probably not as good as you think, and you're probably not as bad as you think.
That's a good one.
So the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I use that all the time. People are like, oh, dude, you're awesome. Changed my business, changed my life. I'm like, yeah, like you get to know me more. I'm just a regular dude, But at the same point, Liz has to remind me, dude, you've helped a lot of people. And I'm like, yeah, I need that encouragement once in a while.
Yeah, Brian, I like that. And I like that you have like Liz's accountability and other people in the industry's accountability too, because I'm kind of going to trail back to the dreaming part of it. So why it's been so hard for me to dream is because this last semester and the semester before, I actually was in our community college here. I'm taking like 9-10 credit hours, not quite full time, but
that's a lot.
Just to get it done. I know your opinion on college, and I've kind of hopped back and forth. And what's been so hard is both my parents have been to college, but the great thing actually is my dad, for example, he was like, I know college isn't for everyone. And my dad worked on cars for 20 years. So like he knows that you don't have to go to college to be successful. And I'm slowly learning that too. I was actually going for student counseling. So that's why some of these things we're talking about are kind of like neat to me. And I find them interesting.
Did you ever want to like do like counseling or like youth ministry or anything like that with that background or?
Yeah. So
seems like it would be like a relatable thing.
Yeah. A big mentor of mine, Brian Rector. He was our guidance counselor in high school.
Okay.
And he's a cool guy. I don't know. The one thing pushing me back is like there's not a whole lot of room for growth after you have it and stuff. And
sure,
the college thing, spending money, like just going into debt for, you're only going to make a certain salary once you're done. Like, I don't want to trap myself in a box. Like, I want to be able to.
Well, in your dad's, career trajectory is a very financially sound one. Yeah. But career counseling might make you $34,000 a year. And
well, actually, around here they're like $80,000.
Oh, really?
Actually,
yeah,
dude, it's up there.
Then we're all in the wrong industry. I'm gonna go be a career counselor tomorrow. $80,000 sounds good to me, bro.
Yeah. The big thing is the time too. Like I don't want to sit in a classroom.
No. Yeah. Well, but it's like people that spend $60,000 a year to go like do something like a business degree for $32,000 a year, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? But like if you go to school for engineering and spend the same $60,000, and then you come out making $80,000, and then year 5 you're making 6 figures plus, and plus double that as you really climb the ladder. Like that's a good ROI. So it is something that you have to figure out like what makes sense for you. But for me, I money aside, I just couldn't sit still. No. I was like, dude, there's no way. Like even if I wanted to, I would need like an alternative class because I'm just I would need a one-on-one teacher, or some kind of self-help program along the way. But that's a whole other story. But that's why I do podcasts and courtyards of with lawn care guys. So this is a good career path for me. This is my element. But well, no, dude, that's pretty much all I got for right now. I just want to say thanks again for opening up all this, dude. I came on in and I was like, hey, we only need an hour or two, nothing fancy. I drove here this morning, about a 3.5 hour drive, nothing crazy, and beautiful turnpike, beautiful scenery the whole way down, coming from Michigan down to Ohio. And dude, you took the whole morning and afternoon just to make it available to film and anything we need. So I just really want to say thank you for all that.
No, thank you. Thank you for driving down. I mean, it's probably a beautiful drive for you. You're showing me that picture over the Cleveland Bridge or whatever.
I left at 5:30. The sunset was coming up, and then I drove over to that Cleveland Bridge, that really nice new one that they have, and it is beautiful. It's just nothing but you and truckers out at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. And you can tell when like everybody gets up for work because the roads get crazy at about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I'm like, here comes the traffic. And, but if you get up early, there's no traffic on the highway to success on the extra mile road. So it's one of those deals where if you get up early, you bypass all that kind of stuff. But that's a whole nother story for a whole other time. Yeah. So where can people find you, man? And if they want to, follow on social or website or anything you got, and that's where I'll kind of land the plane. Yeah.
You can find me at Paxton Grounds on basically everything: Instagram, Facebook, PaxtonGrounds@gmail.com. It's my email. Yep. Or PaxtonGrounds.com is my website.
Cool.
And you can just check us out on Google.
And then you're going to Equip?
Yep, going to Equip.
Give me your best 30-second plug for Equip Expo. Why should people go?
Well, for one, I guess I haven't talked about this yet, but we got a pretty big group chat, like 10, 12, 15 of us on Snapchat, and it's like all the younger guys, like Henrik, Blake, Ethan, I guess if you name a few, you got to name them all. I can't name them all.
Don't leave anybody out. You got a text message. You didn't see my name.
Jake. I mean, so we got a group of them, and that's where I met them, was at Equip. And I knew them over social media before, but I mean, that's been huge. Just kind of like bouncing ideas off each other, just hanging out with kids your age, having fun. Yeah. I mean, we walked past you, we walked past Blake, and they're like, don't get into trouble. Don't get into trouble.
You guys are crazy.
Around. I mean, I think we spent me personally, I spent about $300 on those little bird scooters.
Oh, I know. I've heard the stories.
Yeah.
But don't worry, parents listening to the show, your kids are in great hand.
Oh, absolutely.
And Louisville, Kentucky, a mega city. Big enough city, it's a million person city. And they're riding scooters around at 10 o'clock at night. Oh my God. But you guys are all fired up though, which is funny. And half of you guys have been on the tour, and the other half I'm sure will be eventually. But so it's a good time to network. And if you're in high school or college, like you might be not like the weirdo, on campus or in high school, like because you got your little business and everybody else is doing TikTok dances, right? Like, so you're kind of like the working kid.
Yeah.
But when you go to an Equip Expo and you find the Henriks and the Jakes and the Blakes, like you guys are all cool together because you're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, and it's awesome to get around people that are doing the same thing that you like.
Yes.
Because when you find people that are doing what you like, you can actually talk to them.
Yeah. and believe it or not, you guys are a decade ahead of where all your peers are. So like you, not that you guys get made fun of, nothing like that. It's just the kid, like your peer group doesn't understand. You guys all get it. That's why you guys are all, crushing it. But you're going to be hiring all your friends that were making fun or just poking fun or weren't as ambitious, and there'll be some great kids that can work for you, down the road, whether high school or college help or, even after they graduate.
Yeah. And Brian, actually here in a couple of days, if you know, the EH group.
Yeah. Eric Hughes.
Eric Hughes. I'm going to be driving down there and talking to him just because he's a teacher and he's doing both. So I'm like, hey, why not explore and see if it's even a possibility to do
Eric's
both.
an awesome dude. He's an awesome dude. He's got 5 kids, 6 kids.
Yeah. But I was going to talk, you were talking about hiring kids your age or whatever, but he's taking his students and stuff.
Dude, he's smart. Talk about an infinite labor pool.
Yeah.
You should go circle back to your high school football coach and say, hey man, is he still coaching or?
Well, he's got kids I could hire, but
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey man, I'm always looking for some fresh blood and meat for the grinder, to anybody that can work a trimmer or a mower, so it's all about networking. We always say, right?
Absolutely.
So that's awesome, man. Well, that's not nice, whatever that was.
Yeah, they've got so many cool cars.
There's a auto body shop here in the next huge warehouse bay thing over, and you said there's an Aventador the other day?
Yeah, there's an Aventador. They got
Did you hear it?
Lotus. They got some sweet cars over there.
There was a chopped up Bentley Azure over there.
Yeah.
And, that's an old school Bentley. I was like, I like to see its demise. That breaks my heart. That was my I love that Bentley back. It's a whole nother story for another time. Back in the day, that was in the Bling Bling video with Lil Wayne. Anybody wants to throw that far back? But that was the white one going up and down the bridge. But
cultured.
Is that what the kids say?
Yeah.
that and bet. I'm like, whatever, dude. I don't speak your guys' language. Did you see that video I did with Christian with CNI on Instagram? And I played some rap song. He's like, people over 30 should be forbidden to use this song.
That's hilarious.
I said, dude, get on my level, bro. I'm like,
Christian's a great guy.
Christian's one of the people that was the catalyst for all of this stuff, for me to do these tours and highlight this little genre of young guys, 15 to 19-year-olds, guys and girls that are just crushing it. So I mean, he's one of the poster childs that I have. But he was one of the first ones that we ever did this whole kind of teenager tour series, and you guys have been loving it, man. So good end cap there with how it got started, and you're kind of finishing up 2023s, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Finish her up here.
All right, brother. Well, I'm boogieing back on down the road. Appreciate the time. Have a beautiful weekend, man. And for all you guys listening in, go back through the playlist. It'll be all the Mondays episodes for the last 6 weeks, and then invite you guys to check out the Brian's All Maintenance YouTube channel tonight, 3 p.m. Eastern, and you can see the whole setup that we got going on here. It's really, really cool. Super excited about all the stuff that Nick's put together here the last couple of years. Give you guys some encouragement, some motivation, and maybe you guys are just looking to start a lawn care business. Go to launchpreneuracademy.com. We got some great resources there. And then outside of that, check out the playlist. We got this year's tour, last year's tour, a couple of those videos that I've talked about with Christian. It's got to be 25, videos in there now.
Yeah.
And what a great resource for you guys to learn, if you're younger, how to get this thing going. So, all right, man, that's all I got. Thanks, guys, for listening in. Let's kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, and we'll button this thing up.
How does Echo make outdoor-grade outdoor power equipment? We start outside in the heat, the cold, the rain. We give it hell, test it, best it, retest it. We make it tougher, more powerful, more reliable, more Echo. 200-plus tools forged by the elements. Built for pros, tough pros, outdoor-grade pros. We make it gas-powered, battery-powered, professionally powered. Then we get back outside. We get back to work. That's Echo, and that's outdoor grade. Echo, power on and on.
This is your invitation to Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2023 in Novi, Michigan, Saturday, November 11th. The lineup is power-packed. You won't want to miss it. Learn from incredible speakers like Leroy Maines, Keith Kalfas, Caleb and Brittany Allman, Sam Gimble, Weston Zimmerman, and Jeff Joyner, just to name a few. Tickets are on sale now at the early bird registration price of $197. And hurry, because seating is limited to just 300. Now through August 31st, purchase the whole ball of wax and receive a free ticket to LAL 2023, a $200 value. Once you purchase your ticket, you'll be added to our private Facebook group where you can network with other attendees, get access to the discounted hotel room block, and get the inside scoop for the Friday night party, brought to you by Kohler. Thank you to this year's sponsors, Exmark, Sure Track Trailers, Yard Book, and Boss Snowplow for helping to bring this incredible event to life. We can't wait to see you November 11th, Novi, Michigan, at Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2023. Get your ticket today at lawntrepreneur.academy.com or use the link in the podcast description. Lawntrepreneur Academy Live.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.